So Nicky has started describing all the methods, and now he's going to discuss how to evaluate each method. He hasn't really talked about it yet. I've kind of talked about it, but the spoiler effect is one of the biggest determinants of whether a voting method is good or bad. The spoiler effect, let's see, let me just show you. So right now, square is winning. And if I move this red guy over here, triangle wins. So what's happening here? Red is a minor candidate. It's very far away from the population center. Blue and yellow are in a neck-and-neck race. They're pretty much tied. Red is going to cause a problem for whoever red is closest to. So if red is closest to blue, then yellow wins. If red is closest to yellow, then blue wins. So he's spoiling the election for the person he's closest to. So red might as well drop out. And that's what primaries are for. If there's two candidates in the same party, they're going to split the vote, just like this. They're going to take votes away from each other and cause each other to lose, while the other candidates win. The other party is going to just have one candidate, and they're going to win. If you had an instant runoff system, or ranked choice voting system, as Fair Vote likes to call it, they call it ranked choice voting, you don't have the spoiler effect anymore. Triangle is winning no matter where red goes, because triangle is closest to the center. Problem solved. You can have a little bit of a center squeeze effect. So say yellow and blue are really close together, and red actually tries to get in between them. Red is not winning, even though he's in the center. It's not winning. This is the center squeeze effect, because red is squeezed out between these two candidates on either end. The candidates outside the center have an advantage. But Nicky is just talking about the spoiler effect here, so that is, so I'm going to address the center squeeze effect in my simulation, but Nicky just talks about the spoiler effect. And the spoiler effect is solved by most other voting methods. So I expanded Nicky's list here. So Nicky had Borda, and Borda, it's not a spoiler effect, it's actually a teaming effect. So red teams with yellow here and helps yellow win. If red goes to the other side, then he helps blue win. So you can imagine that a lot of blue people might start running to team up and try to just flood the ballot with all these blue people, and yellow would do the same, and there'd be so many people on the ballot that it would just be a ridiculous competition for how many people you can get on the ballot. That's not very good. But I don't talk about it here. Nicky doesn't talk about it here. I'm just mentioning it because we're talking about Borda. I don't like Borda. Nicky does mention Condorcet as well. Condorcet does not have any problem with the spoiler effect. It does not have any problem with center squeeze effect. It's a very good voting method. So you can see hexagon wins when he's in the middle. That's what you want. And hexagon is not, or red is not affecting the election when he's a minor candidate. Is not affecting it at all. Only when he becomes a major candidate, when he gets closer to the center of the candidates than, or the center of the population than either of the other two candidates, only then will he affect the election result, and that's because he's going to win. That's a great thing to have in a voting system. So Condorcet goes beyond the spoiler effect and solves another issue, which is vote splitting. It's probably the best system. Nicky also shows approval. So approval it works in this case. I don't think it's realistic because these guys over here, now I changed Nicky's example a little bit. So you can see here that I just reset it. Everybody has an opinion. Whoever they like best is being like this guy. This guy likes red best. But if red moves over here, and let's just move this around a little bit. Oh, I had it on the wrong setting. So reset and go to approval. Okay, so Nicky's example here is kind of wrong because all these people vote for yellow, but people that are further away don't vote for anybody. These people would vote in an election, and I think Nicky's example is a little wrong here. I fixed this problem in my method, my simulation, and definitely check it out. You can see that these people are voting for two candidates. They're not voting for red, but they are voting for both blue and yellow. Another problem Nicky has is that he has people that are voting for three different people here. There is no reason they would vote for three people. You would always vote for who you like best and not vote for who you like worst. So it's kind of unrealistic. I think Nicky has some room for improvement there, and let's just look at score voting real quick. Score voting still has the same problem approval voting has, where you're not really using any kind of normalization to give your highest rating to the person you like first and your lowest rating to the person you like last. You are using some measure of distance and how much candidate is close to you feel strongly about. If they're really close to you, and you can kind of tell whether they're really a 5 candidate or more of a 4, 3, or 2. But score does solve the spoiler effect, and that is what is being shown here. Approval also solves the spoiler effect, even though Nicky didn't exactly do it right. So, every voting method, except first past the post, is immune to the spoiler effect.